What is up, everybody, and welcome to today's video in which I'm going to be predicting a few fights on tonight's stacked UFC card. Let's go! Okay, so first up we got my homie Sugar Sean O'Malley, undefeated, man. That loss doesn't count against Chito Vera. We all know man got his Ecuadorian toe in that calf, homie. It is what it is. So we move on. Sean O'Malley, he won his recent fight against Chris Moutinho, I believe. And Julian Paiva, I just found out about this dude, but I think he's a great fighter. He has 21 wins and 3 losses, as we can check. Sugar Sean, as we know, has 14 wins. This is fake. He doesn't have a loss. Sugar Sean doesn't lose, of course. I believe Sugar Sean O'Malley wins this game. His striking is just too good. His length, as we can tell, Paiva is shorter. Of course, they're the same weight, bantamweight. And Sugar Sean O'Malley has a reach advantage and a leg reach advantage. If I had to guess, Sugar Sean O'Malley puts this dude's lights out in round 3. Side note, I read a crazy story. It was very sad about Paiva, man. Apparently back in 2018, I believe, like 3 years ago now, him and his then girlfriend went out to the club. Some guy knew him and was jealous and tried to attack him. Paiva tried to settle the situation down. However, the guy wouldn't budge, man. Paiva went out on his motorbike with his girlfriend, and this guy followed them and hit them on purpose, and his girlfriend sadly passed away in the crash, man. So that's a pretty sad story for Paiva, man. I hope he's better since then. Must have been the love of his life. It is what it is, though. I still think Sugar Sean O'Malley takes this one. Let's move. Next up, we got KaraFrance against Cody, no love, Garbrandt. I really like Cody, man. He destroyed my favorite fighter in the bantamweight division, Dominic Cruz, the bantamweight GOAT. And after that, dude pretty much lost 4 of his next 5 fights, only defeating Rafael Assunção via that buzzer beater KO of the year. That's insane. He was this young, undefeated lion at 25 years old. The future was so bright for him, but I think the ego got the best of him, man. And it is what it is. It's fighting. It's the fight game. Sometimes you get caught. He lost twice to Dillashaw. And he lost to Pedro Munoz, who's fighting Dominic Cruz on the card right now anyway. And that's where his ego took over. He should have stayed smart. Like in the Dominic Cruz fight. If you get a knockdown, get out, man. He just wanted to stand and bang, and Pedro caught him when Garbrandt was the second best bantamweight in the world after he lost to Dillashaw. And Munoz took his spot. He was 9th, I believe, at the time. So it is what it is. But for this fight, I believe Cody Garbrandt wins it, man. He's taking this serious. He's way more experienced now. I see him cheering David Goggins everywhere, so that's good. I love David Goggins. All the homies love David Goggins. KaraFrance has way more fights than him, but Garbrandt definitely has a lot of experience. He could have had the flyweight debut as a champion contender, but COVID happened, so he got this title eliminator fight instead. And I believe Cody Garbrandt wins because he has more height and has the normal reach advantage. But I believe Cody takes this, man. I essentially think Cody is fighting for his job here. Like Sean O'Malley said. He said if you lose this fight, you're gonna go next to Dominic Cruz in the commentator's booth. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope Cody wins, man. I hope Cody does. I think the weight cut isn't gonna affect him that much. Israel Adesanya is wrong on that. Like, he won't have a worse chin. I don't think KaraFrance knocks Cody out. I think it's gonna be the other way around. I think Israel Adesanya said that because he reps his boy, and I appreciate that. Shows a lot about his character. Backing his homeboys like KaraFrance and Dan Hooker against Islam Makhachev. However, just because they're his homeboys doesn't mean they're gonna lose. But it is pretty humbling to know that Israel Adesanya, the middleweight champion of the world, always rep his boys. It is what it is. We move on. So up next we got Dominic the Dominator Cruz against Pedro Munoz. Dominic Cruz, of course, UFC legend, the bantamweight GOAT. 3 titles in the WEC, 3 titles in the UFC as a bantamweight champ, man. He only has 3 losses on his record, 23-3. His last fight was a win. Pedro Munoz lost. However, Pedro Munoz did beat Cody, and Dominic did lose to Cody for the title. However, experienced MMA fans know that MMA math doesn't always add up, man. So that doesn't mean much. So pretty much Dominic Cruz is the taller man. He also has a reach advantage. I believe this is gonna be a decision win for Dominic Cruz, 29-28 to Dominic Cruz, man. Augusto Sakai against Bam Bam Tuivasa. I believe Tai takes this fight. I saw his last fight against Dan Hardy. Even though he got rocked, he stood composed and threw a hook back and knocked Dan Hardy out. I thought Tuivasa was gonna lose from the shot he took from Hardy, but he was a warrior and he won. That's all I gotta say about this fight. I don't know much about Sakai. Maybe he'll surprise us. Who knows? Jeff Neal against Santiago Ponzinibio. So, to be very honest with you, I know Jeff Neal lost last time against Wonderboy. And Santiago, I know he has a very good record and he is very likely to win. However, I think Jeff Neal takes this one. I think it's about time he takes it. He's been losing in the UFC lately. He lost in real life because he had some charges against him. However, I believe it's about time his luck turns his way in life and he's about to win, man. That's all I think. And other than that, I'm not very experienced with these two fighters. I hope they're gonna put a really great show on tonight. Next up, we got Amanda, the lioness, the woman goat Nunes against Juliana Pena. Now, we all know Amanda Nunes beat every woman bantamweight champion in the world and every woman featherweight champion in the world. She knocked out Ronda Rousey, man. She defeated Chris Cyborg, who was thought to be the GOAT at the time, as well as Ronda Rousey. I mean, Joe Rogan even said on his podcast he believed Ronda Rousey can outbox some men, some professional men, which is a crazy story in itself. I think Joe was just getting emotional. He's usually right about his UFC stuff, but not then. So, we all know Amanda Nunes is a taller girl here. There is no reach advantage in this game pretty much. Amanda Nunes just has a little bit of a leg reach advantage. Juliana Pena did seem very confident in herself leading up to this fight, but when they faced off, she looked like, you know, ooh, what did I get myself into type of situation. I hope Juliana wins, though. It's about time. The women division has a change. Even though it might sound crazy, I'm picking Juliana Pena for this fight, man. Just to keep it entertaining. Of course, my mind says Amanda Nunes is gonna maul her and destroy her by the latest in the second round and get either a submission because she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, or knock her out like she did goats before her in her divisions. Like, she even beat Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. A lot of people think it's controversial that she beat Valentina the second time. They think the judges were wrong. That's why I think Dana White should set up a third fight between them. But for this fight, I'm picking Juliana Pena. And my only reason for that is, why not, man? Why not? Do the impossible, because nothing is impossible. Let's go. And we got here the main fight, the main attraction of tonight's card. Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira and Dustin the Diamond Poirier. So Charles is the reigning UFC lightweight champion after Khabib left. If you ask me, he's the right heir to the throne because Khabib came from the mountains of Dagestan. This dude came from the ghetto of Brazil, of the favelas of Brazil. Do Bronx has 40 fights to his name, man. 31 wins, 8 losses, 1 no contest. Dustin has a lot of fighting experience, and if he wins this, he's up there with the names like Robbie Lawler, Michael Bisping, Charles Oliveira himself, man, because they took the long, hard road to get here, and this is the record for most combined UFC fights for a UFC fight and UFC title history fight period, man. So, I picked Charles Do Bronx, man. Here is my reason. He's just an inch taller, and his reach advantage is like 2 inches longer. I don't think it plays a little bit of a part in there, but not as that much of big a part as people think. I picked this because Charles Oliveira has the momentum right now. He has a 9-fight win streak, and lately he beat Kevin Lee, he beat Tony Ferguson to get the title fight, and he beat one of my favorite lightweights on the planet, Michael Iron Chandler, man. So, Dustin Poirier himself is on a 3-fight winning streak. However, he beat Conor McGregor twice. One of them was, I wouldn't say questionable, but Conor did snap his leg, man. His leg just gave out. He knew that in camp. He beat him fair and square the first time. The only guy to ever knock out Conor McGregor in the UFC and mixed martial arts competition. That is true. But Conor did break his tibia and his fibula in that fight. So It's unfair to just assume that. So I believe Dustin is a really great fighter, an all-time great, a UFC Hall of Famer, a mixed martial arts legend. However, I believe Dubronx takes this via second round submission. He is the most confident he's ever been. His team loves him. They're like family. I think Charles Oliveira takes this. Thanks to all the homies who watched this video. As y'all know, I have also played the UFC game and filmed a few clips on this channel. If you want next time, for example, for me to give my UFC predictions and play the main event in UFC 4, the newest UFC game out right now, make sure to comment down below and like, subscribe, and peace, homies. Fearless.